Kia ora, everyone. I hope you've had a fantastic Thursday. I had a slightly unexpected Thursday. I was due to be in Dunedin for the day, but very unfortunately left home at 6 o'clock this morning and got to the airport already for a flight which never left. Fog descended over Dunedin and didn't part in time for me to get there and have all the visits I was meant to have. So if you know any students from Bathgate School in Dunedin where I was meant to go and do story time today, I'm so sorry. I am going to get back there. I was also meant to be at a whānau order symposium and a trades training centre. So another time, but to Dunedin, I'm very sorry for the disruption today. There were a couple of things that I wanted to just talk about really quickly on this Thursday night. The first relates to some of the developments we've seen over the past few weeks in relation to COVID-19 and management at the border. And then I'll move on to a couple of other issues of things that we announced today, which are really exciting around climate change. First, on our borders, we are seeing around the world at the moment countries that are experiencing third waves of COVID, despite their vaccine rollouts, really struggling with resurgence in their countries. And that's happening in Europe. We see Germany and France affected, particularly significant outbreaks in the likes of Brazil and also devastating impacts in India as well. And what we had done in order to try and prevent some of those surges affecting us and causing issues for travellers was to put in place pre-departure testing. So that's a requirement that anyone who's travelling into New Zealand from anywhere other than Australia and the Pacific Islands is required to have a COVID-19 test 72 hours before their departure. Now, we had noticed that was making a difference, and certainly for the first few months of this year. However, what we've noticed is that in one part of the world in particular, we just haven't seen it having that same impact. And we had done work to try and establish why that was. Was it that we were getting inaccurate pre-departure testing information? Was it that the testing was being conducted in a different way? We haven't been able to get to the bottom of that, but we are still concerned enough about the number of cases that are coming through particularly from India, that we've decided that what we need to do is just suspend those flights for a short period of time, not for good, but just a short period of time, to see if there are other things we can do to try and reduce down that risk. Now, I think something I really want to make clear, this is not forever. We cannot stop people from coming home. We cannot stop citizens from coming home. But what I don't want to do is put those travellers at risk. And one of the things we can see at the moment is that right before people are leaving, clearly they are becoming infected with COVID. And so that worries me, that the act of travelling is putting people at risk. So we just want to look and see if there are ways to try and reduce that down for them. The other point I'd make is that no matter what high-risk country in the world this would be, we would have taken this action. Whether, had it been any other Brazil, anywhere, we would have done exactly the same thing. It's not about the place, it's about risk, and obviously just some of our mechanisms aren't working well for this particular flight and from this particular departure point. So that's why we've done it. The final thing I'd just say is that it's just the scale. We had roughly on average, we were, a handful of cases, 2 or 3 per day on an every 7-day rolling average. We're up to 7 now on average per day. And we've had roughly 60 in the last 2 weeks that have come out of, specifically out of India. So that's why we've taken this short-term action to see if we can just improve our system a little bit more. So just thought I'd give you that quick insight there. The other thing I really wanted to quickly touch on is the exciting announcements today that relate to climate change. I'm aware that we've got the next school strike for climate tomorrow, and it coincides with some decisions that we've made in recent weeks that we announced today. First, some of the successful applicants for a fund that we've set up to try and support the private sector to phase out of fossil fuel use. So that was a really great set of announcements made by Minister Megan Woods and James Shaw today. The other announcement was our ban on new coal-fired boilers that will come into place from December this year. It was a pledge we made during the election. We're now putting that into practice, getting it underway, but we have also put out consultation on the idea of phasing out our existing coal-fired boilers by 2037. And so that's, and that was something proposed by the Climate Commission as well. So, just to give you a sense of what does that mean for New Zealand in our carbon emissions, that's the equivalent of anywhere between, roughly 400,000 and over 500,000 cars per year off our roads. So that gives you a sense of the scale of a decision like this and the impact that it can have. So that was really exciting, but it's exactly the progress that we need to be making if we're to address our climate challenges, which we are completely committed to. So a big Thursday, and despite not making it down to Dunedin, lots of things to get through today regardless, but I am sorry to those I missed, in particular Bathgate School. I was so sad about that. I'd bought a couple of books to read to you, but I will be back. You can count on that. Till then, thanks everyone for joining me really quickly tonight. Look forward to check in with you all again soon. Otherwise, have a great Friday. Take care of yourselves, and I will drop in again soon. Ka kite.